Your money can disappear faster than a Netflix free trial, and the scary part is, you might help it disappear. I'm talking about scams that don't show up wearing a ski mask and yelling "hands up." No, these ones show up with a clean logo, a professional voice, a convincing email signature, and just enough urgency to make your brain hit the panic button before your common sense even gets out of bed. One minute you're sipping coffee, the next minute you're staring at your bank app like it betrayed you personally. And here's what makes it worse. You don't have to be gullible to fall for these. You just have to be busy, tired, distracted, or feeling a little too confident, like, "Oh, I would never fall for that." Perfect. That sentence is basically a scammer's love language. Because modern scams aren't random, they're engineered. They're psychological traps dressed up as customer service. They use the same tricks marketers use: pressure, scarcity, authority, and fear. Except instead of trying to sell you a blender, they're trying to sell you the privilege of losing your own money. And the numbers are ugly. Every year, people lose billions to fraud. Regular working people, retirees, young professionals, even business owners who should have known better. And that's just the reported losses. Because a lot of folks don't report it. Not because they're fine, but because embarrassment is a powerful silence button. So in today's video, we're breaking down the 5 biggest financial scams that keep draining bank accounts, wrecking credit, and turning savings into a sad story. But we're not just naming them, we're exposing how they work, why they work, and the simple rules that shut them down immediately. And trust me, stay to the end, because one of these scams is so common you've probably seen it this week. It doesn't start with a stranger in a dark alley. It starts with something that looks like it came from someone you already trust. And once you understand that one, you'll never look at a verification message the same way again. Welcome back to the channel. This is where we break down money, life, and the real-world traps nobody warns you about until it's too late. If you want to protect your paycheck, your savings, and your peace of mind, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the best time to learn this stuff is before your bank account learns it the hard way. Number 5. The fake job/easy money scam. This scam shows up wearing a business casual disguise and carrying a clipboard full of buzzwords like remote, flexible, weekly pay, and start immediately. It's basically a digital street magician. One minute you're watching a very convincing trick, and the next minute your money is gone and you're standing there holding a useless "congratulations" email like it's a consolation prize. Here's how it usually plays out. First, the bait. A job offer that feels just realistic enough to be believable, but also just magical enough to short-circuit your skepticism. The pay is suspiciously generous for work that sounds like simple tasks, data entry, package inspection, assistant role, or my personal favorite, payment processing. Because nothing says stable employment like being asked to move money around for strangers you've never met. Then comes the speed. Real hiring processes can be slow, messy, and painfully human. Scammers? They're efficient. They'll hire you in 20 minutes. They'll tell you your resume is impressive, even if it looks like a grocery list. They'll interview you through text only, usually on messaging apps, because apparently this company operates in 2026 but doesn't believe in phone calls. Convenient. Now the scam splits into a few classic routes. Route A, the fake check trap. They send you a check and tell you it's for equipment or startup materials. They instruct you to deposit it and then send part of the money to a vendor, IT specialist, or shipping partner. Your bank might make the funds look available quickly, so you think it cleared. You spend or transfer the money. Days later, boom, the check bounces like a basketball and your bank comes back like, "So, about that money." And now you're out real cash, because the check was never real in the first place. Route B, the payment forwarding trap. They send you money, or claim they did, and ask you to forward it using wire transfer, crypto, gift cards, or payment apps. That's not a job. That's being recruited as a human laundering machine. And when the original payment is reversed or traced, you're the one standing closest to the mess. Route C, the pay-to-get-paid setup. They ask you to pay for training, certification, background check, onboarding fees, or account verification. Translation: they want you to fund your own robbery. And the reason this works isn't because people are foolish. It works because it targets people at a vulnerable moment: job hunting. When you're trying to pay bills, feed a family, or just breathe without financial anxiety sitting on your chest, you're more likely to lean into hope. Scammers know that. They're not guessing, they're harvesting. Red flags that scream, "This is not a job." They hire you fast with minimal screening, like they're handing out jobs the way stores hand out free samples. Text-only interviews with weirdly formal language that sounds copied and pasted. They want you to move money as part of your role. They avoid video calls like their webcam is allergic to truth. They push urgency: "We need you today," limited slots, respond within 30 minutes. They ask for sensitive info too early: SSN, bank login details, ID photos, before a real offer letter and verification. How to avoid it: simple rules that actually work. Never pay to get a job. If a job requires you to send money first, that's not employment, that's a transaction. Never use your personal account to move company money. Real companies don't hire random strangers with Zelle as their accounting department. Verify the employer independently. Don't click their links. Search the company yourself, then call the number from the official website. If a check is involved, slow down. A deposit showing available is not the same as cleared. If they want you to send money before it fully clears, that's the trap snapping shut. Trust the discomfort. If the offer feels rushed, secretive, or too easy, listen to that internal alarm. It exists for a reason. And if you're thinking, "Wow, who falls for this?" The answer is people who are stressed, hopeful, and trying to survive, which is a lot of people. So don't feel embarrassed, feel informed. Because once you can spot the pattern, these scams become painfully predictable. All right, now that we've exposed the easy money trap, let's move to the next one. And this one doesn't just steal your cash, it steals your trust. Number 4, the romance scam, aka emotional direct deposit. This scam doesn't start with money. It starts with attention, compliments, consistency. Someone who texts you good morning like it's their full-time job, because, honestly, it is. Romance scammers are basically emotional salespeople with Wi-Fi. They don't show up asking for cash on day one. They show up offering connection. And they're patient, because the goal isn't to rob you quickly, it's to make you feel like you're helping someone you trust. You're not being scammed out of money at first. You're being scammed into a story. The script is usually polished. They're charming, they get you, they're always available, and they mirror your interests like a professional actor auditioning for the role of your soulmate. Then they start pulling you off the platform. Let's talk on WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal. Because the less oversight, the better. Scams thrive in private. Then come the obstacles. They can't meet yet. They're working overseas. They're in the military. They're on an oil rig. They're a doctor on a humanitarian mission. Basically, they're always in a place where video calls are inconvenient and meeting is impossible. Funny how that works. And once the emotional bond is strong, once you've invested time, vulnerability, and hope, here comes the emergency. My bank account is frozen. I need help with travel costs. I got stuck and need a quick loan. I need money for medical bills. Can you help me just this once? I'll pay you back. It's never presented as greed. It's presented as trust, like a relationship test. And that's the trap. You're not sending money because you think you're being played. You're sending money because you think you're being loyal. Red flags that should make you pause immediately. They fall hard fast, like suspiciously fast. They avoid video calls or always have an excuse. Their life story is dramatic, chaotic, and full of emergencies. They keep pushing secrecy. Don't tell anyone, people won't understand. They ask for money through gift cards, crypto, or payment apps, not normal methods. How to avoid it without becoming emotionally bankrupt. No money to someone you've never met in real life. Not a little. Not just once. Not, but they're different. Verify them. Reverse image search their photos. Look for duplicates. Ask direct questions and watch for vague answers. Insist on a live video call. If they can't show up live, they can't show up with your money either. Bring in daylight. Tell a friend. Romance scams collapse when someone else listens to the story out loud. Watch how they react to boundaries. A real person respects them. A scammer pressures you through them. Romance scammers don't just steal dollars. They steal confidence. They steal trust. And they leave people blaming themselves for being human. So let's be clear, caring isn't the weakness. The weakness is sending money to a stranger wearing a love costume. Alright, now let's move to hashtag 3, the one that sounds official, urgent, and terrifying on purpose. Number 3, the bank/government impersonation scam. This scam is basically fear with a customer service voice. Your phone rings, or you get a text, or an email that looks clean, professional, and painfully believable. The message is always the same flavor: panic. Suspicious activity detected. Your account will be locked. There's a warrant. You owe taxes. Your social security number has been flagged. They want your brain in emergency mode, because when people are scared, they don't fact-check. They comply. And scammers love impersonating banks and government agencies because it comes preloaded with authority. You're trained to obey those voices. They lean into that. They'll use official-sounding language, spoof phone numbers, and sometimes even read you partial information to sound legitimate, like your name, your city, or the last 4 digits of something. It's not magic. It's data leaks and public records, served with confidence. Then comes the solution, which is always designed to move money quickly. Transfer funds to a safe account. Pay immediately to avoid arrest. Confirm your login and code. Send a verification payment. Red flags that scream scam. Urgency plus threats. Real institutions don't negotiate under terror. They demand secrecy. Don't tell your bank teller. That's because your bank teller would stop it. They ask for OTP/2FA codes. That code is the key to your account. Nobody legitimate needs it. They demand gift cards, crypto, or wire transfers. The government does not accept iTunes gift cards. Please. How to avoid it? Hang up. Not argue. Not explain. Just hang up. Call back using an official number from your bank card or the institution's verified website. Never share OTP codes or login details, ever. Slow down. Urgency is their weapon. Time is your shield. This scam works because it doesn't need your trust. It only needs your fear. Now let's go to hashtag 2, where greed gets dressed up as investing. Number 2, the investment/guaranteed returns scam. If someone tells you there's a guaranteed return with no risk, you're not being offered an investment. You're being offered a lesson. This scam shows up as Ponzi schemes, fake trading platforms, VIP crypto groups, insider signals, passive income programs. We do the trading for you. And it's always the same vibe: easy money for smart people. They flatter you. They make you feel like you're getting access to something exclusive. Like you're stepping behind the curtain where the real winners play. Spoiler: the winners are them. They often show proof, screenshots, testimonials, dashboards that display profits. Sometimes they even let you withdraw a small amount at first to build confidence. That's not generosity. That's bait. Once you put in real money, suddenly withdrawals come with obstacles. You need to pay taxes first. You must upgrade your account. A processing fee is required. Your funds are locked until verification. In other words, you can see your money, but you can't touch it. It's like watching your paycheck through a museum display case. Red flags. Guaranteed returns. Pressure to act fast. They can't clearly explain how profits are generated. They focus more on recruiting than performance. They don't allow free, simple withdrawals. How to avoid it? If you can't explain it, don't invest in it. Confusion is not a strategy. Use regulated, reputable platforms. Not links from DMs. Research the company and person. Look for licensing, regulatory records, and real history. Never pay money to access your money. That's the oldest trick in the fraud book. Alright, now we're down to hashtag 1, the one that catches people even when they're careful. Number 1. Phishing Plus Account Takeover, the looks legit scam. This is the king of modern scams because it doesn't ask you to believe something ridiculous. It asks you to do something normal. It looks like your bank, your delivery company, a subscription service, a payment app, a coworker, a security alert. It slides into your day like a casual notification, something you'd click without thinking. The message is almost always urgent. Unusual login detected. Confirm your identity. Your account will be suspended. Payment failed. Update your details. You click. The page looks perfect. Same logo. Same layout. Same fonts. You type your login. Maybe your card number. Maybe the verification code they need. And in that moment, you didn't log in. You handed your keys to someone waiting behind the door. Then the takeover begins. Password changes, transfers, new payees, drained accounts. And the worst part? People often don't notice until it's already done, because the scam is designed to be quiet and fast, like a pickpocket, not a mugger. Red flags. Slightly weird links or misspellings in the domain. Messages pushing urgency. Requests for passwords or verification codes. Attachments you weren't expecting. How to avoid it? Simple rules that save real money. Never click banking links in texts/emails. Open your bank app manually. Turn on two-factor authentication. Prefer app-based codes over SMS when possible. Use unique passwords. Password managers help. Enable account alerts for logins, transfers, and new payees. If something feels off, pause. A 30-second check can save months of cleanup. Phishing works because it attacks your attention, your most exhausted resource. We are down to number 1 through the countdown, closing plus CTA. And that's the countdown. The 5 biggest financial scams: fake jobs, romance traps, impersonation calls, guaranteed return, investments, and phishing takeovers that look so real they could fool your own mother. Here's the simple takeaway. Scams don't win because you're stupid. They win because they're strategic. They use urgency, emotion, authority, and distraction, basically the 4 horsemen of bad decisions. So if you remember just one rule, remember this. Pressure is a scammer's favorite tool. Real banks give you time. Real employers verify. Real investments explain risk. Real relationships don't come with invoices. If this video helped you, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Because scammers don't only target vulnerable people. They target busy people. And drop a comment. Which one of these scams do you think is the most dangerous right now, and why?